Hey everyone, welcome back to Kennedy Hawk Place. We're going to continue our core set player card reviews today, looking at another aspect from the 4 core set hero aspects. So yesterday we looked at leadership. Today we're going to look at protection. Had a couple comments in the leadership video, so I counted the number of cards in each set wrong. There's actually 19 cards in each set, but there's still one short in leadership, so it's the smallest aspect. I forgot I had pulled some heroes out. But thanks for tuning in. So we'll go over the protection set today and try to get through the other aspects by the end of the week and do heroes over the weekend. So protection is a really interesting aspect. Leadership was my favorite aspect. Protection is my least favorite, but that doesn't mean it's a bad aspect. It's actually a really good one. So we'll go over the cards in here and talk about what they do. So I'm going to start with the upgrades this time. There are 2 upgrades instead of 1, like there was in leadership. So Armored Vest, pay 1. Put under any player's control, that player gets +1 defense. So this can be really strong if you want to defend a lot. And protection makes you want to defend a lot. Sometimes you need to defend just to stay alive or to eliminate a big swing from hitting you. And having 1 boosted defense is always good, especially at the cost of 1. Indomitable, the other upgrade. Response, after your hero defends, you discard an Indomitable to ready your hero. So this is really the engine that makes all of protection work. You get it on your hero for pretty cheap. It lets you defend and then swing or thwart, so you're not just slowing the game down by defending continuously. So this is a really important card in this aspect. It'll probably see play in almost every protection deck, even after we get more protection cards for a really long time. Let's do allies next. There's 2 allies in protection, and both are themed pretty well. So Luke Cage, 1 thwart, 2 attack. When he enters play, he has a tough status card, so he can take 1 big damaging hit for you, and he can then defend a bunch with his 5 health, or attack 5 times for 10 damage, which is really, really good. Pretty cool. Nice to see heroes get the toughness card. The villain gets tough a lot, so having a hero/ally get it is really, really powerful. You can take a huge blow on Luke Cage and take no damage, so definitely protection-y. You can also use your allies to defend for other players, so always good. The other card, Black Widow, she's 3 cost, 2 thwart, 1 attack. She's probably, I already said Indomitable is going to be in every protection deck. Black Widow probably should be as well. She's good solo, she's good multiplayer, she is just good all around. So in the other Fantasy Flight cooperative living card games, anything that can cancel or reduce the randomness coming out of the encounter deck is really, really powerful, and she's one of those cards. So when a card is revealed from the encounter deck, you can exhaust her and spend a science resource or a mental resource to cancel the effects of that card and discard it. Then reveal another card. So you still get another card, but if you pop over that Shadows of the Past, which completely dominates your game, or something that's going to kill a character, you can completely circumvent it. And you circumvent even the when revealed effects. So it's really, really powerful. Yeah, I would definitely recommend Black Widow. Maybe you don't cancel the when revealed effects. When a card is revealed, yeah, you interrupt, so you cancel the effects and then discard it. So yeah, really powerful. Definitely should be in every deck ever. I'm honestly surprised she doesn't take a collateral damage when she uses her ally ability. It's that powerful. If you get her out there, it's pretty much a game-winning move unless things go really awry. So protection from damage, protection from the encounter deck, which is one of the things that's really hard to control. There is a support, so 3 uses, so you put 3 counters on it when it comes into play. You exhaust it to remove a counter and heal 2 from a friendly character. So this is basically first aid on a stick. First aid costs 1 and you heal 2 from someone. Med team costs 3, you get to heal 2 from someone 3 times, but it stays in play turn after turn. So it's a little bit better than first aid in that way, but it also costs a lot more to get it into play. You can't just play it once to save an ally or something like that. Pretty good card. I think it'll be used by a lot of people, especially since it has this energy resource type. Now we get to the things that I don't love about protection. When I play Marvel Champions, I'm all about burning through my deck as fast as possible, and I hate holding cards in my hand from turn to turn. One of the best things about the game is you draw up to that reserve value at the end of every turn. So you should just be burning, well, you don't have to, but in my experience, I always want to be burning through my deck to draw as many cards as I possibly can. And these 2 cards kind of are counterintuitive to that. You can use them right away because you draw before the villain's turn, So counterpunch is a response. It's an attack, so you can't be stunned. After your hero defends, so you still need to defend against an enemy, you deal damage equal to your attack back to the enemy. So that's really cool. If you have a high attack hero, 3 attack, 2 attack, you could swing for 2 for just discarding a card, but you have to defend to do it. So it kind of is making your defense a little more effective and slowing down the game less. But at the same time, if you were in alt ego form at the end of your turn and drew 2 counterpunches, those are now dead cards for a whole turn if you don't spend them as resources. And I just really dislike dead cards in my deck, and dead cards in my hand for a whole turn. So it's a really good card, but I do not recommend holding on to it for a long time. When I'm building protection and new cards come out, these will be some of the first cards removed, is my assumption. Alright, next. Get Behind Me. This one I'm torn on. It's really good, so have to be in hero form. When a treachery card is revealed from your counter deck, cancel its when revealed effects, and then the villain attacks you. So you do get to have some control like Black Widow, and you don't have to draw a new card instead of it, but you're basically drawing that card that makes the villain attack you every time you play this. So it's great if you have, lots of high defense like protection players do, and if you want to defend like protection players do. But a lot of times, some of the things I'm trying to avoid out of the encounter deck are the villain attacking me. So if I cancel it from attacking me and then he attacks me instead, it's not that great. In group play, this could be pretty good because you could reroute attacks, but you can defend for other people anyway if you're ready, so it still doesn't help a whole ton. I think it has use, especially right now with limited deck building variety, but it's another card where, say you draw 2 of these or 1 of these in a counterpunch, the villain doesn't attack you and no good treachery cards come out. Well, now you've got 2 cards in your hand that you're just sitting on, which really slows down how fast you progress through your deck. And one thing about this game, it's not a racing game. You're not trying to beat the villain in some sort of race, but at the same time it is. The villain is accumulating threat every turn, and you need to control that threat and kill the villain or defeat the villain before that threat limit is exceeded. So not a big fan of these 2 cards. They definitely have their place and fit the protection theme, but I feel like they need a little more support to be really, really useful. So I already told you that this is one of my least favorite aspects, but it doesn't mean I haven't played a lot of games with it. So I picked out some of the cards from the hero decks that are really useful with protection. So Spider-Man has an inherent 3 defense. Pretty much anyone protection solo is a really hard game to survive because you need to remove a lot of threat, so you're not getting attacked a ton. So you're getting attacked a ton, you're having to flip to alt ego, so the bad guy's getting a lot of threat, and it's really easy to threat out when you're running protection solo. Spider-Man is the same way solo, but in multiplayer Spider-Man protection is amazing. Just equipping an armored vest to Spider-Man, he can get to 4 defense, so he can just defend, and take no damage, which if you can mitigate, stay in hero form, and have the villain not actually progress or deal any damage to you, that's really, really powerful. Another cool thing, when the villain attacks you, you draw a card, so there's a good use for Get Behind Me. You can cancel the treachery card from another player, and then the villain attacks you, so he's going to initiate another attack, so you can trigger Spider Sense more than once in a turn. So overall, I think protection really works well with Spider-Man. You can also use his science resource. Well, I guess you can't. So you can generate a science resource, but you'd have to spend it right away. You couldn't save it to use with Black Widow. But still, lots of sciencey stuff in this one. I think that Spider-Man could benefit from it. A couple other hero cards to look at. Gamma Slam. I put this in here because I don't see a lot of people playing Protection She-Hulk. But one thing about Protection that's kind of interesting is you want to constantly be absorbing attacks. So you can Get Behind Me to cancel someone else's treachery card and take more damage, knowing that Gamma Slam is coming up in your deck. So Gamma Slam is a hero action. Deal X damage, where X is the amount of damage you've taken so far, up to a maximum of 15. So you could pay 4 to deal 15 damage if you get a bunch of damage on you. And one thing that's going to happen when you're playing Protection is you're probably going to have a lot of attacks come at you. That's kind of a cool way to use this with She-Hulk. Another Spider-Man card, Backflip, so when you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent it all, so you can Get Behind Me and then backflip away from the damage. You can counterpunch by defending and take no damage, so you do damage to them when they attack, but you take nothing. That's kind of cool. Alright, Cosmic Flight from Captain Marvel. I put this in here because it has damage reduction. Since you're going to be taking a lot of damage, any sort of damage reduction you have is great. So this really empowers cards like Get Behind Me. If you have a copy or two of Cosmic Flight in play, you can play Get Behind Me to cancel a really powerful treachery. Maybe you've already defended early in the round, but now you don't have to defend and you can still prevent some of that damage from hitting you, which I think is really good. And the last card is one other Captain Marvel card. It's super combo-y, which reaches to me, but not to all people, so I think we'll pull her over here really quick. Captain Marvel has only 1 defense, so you wouldn't think she'd be a great defender. But once you put an armored vest on her, she's up to 2, which is kind of average. But you can also put this helmet on her, which gives you another defense to put her up to 3. Or if you have this other defendy aerial trait upgrade out, she gets up to 4 defense. So now, I mean, it took 3 cards in play to do it, but you got to Spider-Man's defense level with his just 1 card in play, but you also have all these other boosted stats, additional card draw abilities that can make up for the slowness from a protection aspect. So that is my summary of the protection cards. So there's the Power Of card that comes with all of them, so it's the double energy resource for protection cards. Again, kind of like in Leadership, it's not super useful yet. I mean, it helps you make med teams cheaper, Luke Cage and Black Widow, but all the other cards in Protection are 1 or 0 cost, so it's not like a huge benefit to double your resources for Protection yet. As we get more cards, that'll become better and better. So yeah, Protection, pretty interesting setup. You're going to be defending a lot when you play Protection, which can kind of make the game a little challenging, because you need to be constantly progressing towards your goal to win. But still a really powerful set. Definitely viable in multiplayer, a lot harder to play in solo player. So if you're looking for a challenge, I definitely recommend trying out the Protection set in solo and seeing just how long you can turtle before you become overrun by the villain.